Simone Weil was not your everyday philosopher. She was a deeply eccentric, highly intellectual, and absurdly compassionate individual who lived her short life like a tragic hero from a Greek myth. Born on February 3, 1909, in Paris, she was a French philosopher, activist, mystic, and, according to some, one of the most intense people to ever walk the earth. Let's dig into the quirks, contradictions, and brilliance of Simone Weil's life. Simone Weil was born into a well-off secular Jewish family. Her father was a doctor, and her mother doted on her and her older brother Andre, a mathematical prodigy. Growing up, Simone was the ultimate nerd. By the time she was 5, she had declared solidarity with the poor by refusing sugar in her tea during World War I because French soldiers didn't have sugar. Yes, at 5. While her brother Andre was dazzling the world with his mathematical genius, Simone was busy acing philosophy, Greek, Sanskrit, and basically every subject under the sun. She had a soft spot for reading the great thinkers. Plato, Kant, and Pythagoras were like her childhood friends. She also had the social skills of, well, a philosopher. Awkward and introverted, Simone was known for her stubbornness and intensity. Teachers loved her, but classmates, not so much. She was the kind of person who'd argue passionately about morality at recess, while everyone else just wanted to play hopscotch. Simone Weil never married and didn't have children, but don't think it was because she wasn't interested in love. She just didn't have time for it. She was too busy solving existential crises, working in factories, and writing letters to the world about how to fix society. Simone believed in living an ascetic life, luxury. No thanks. Comfort. Not for her. Her family became the poor, the oppressed, and the downtrodden, for whom she felt an almost painful sense of responsibility. You could say she mothered humanity in her own intense way. Simone Weil was a walking contradiction. Brilliant, yet awkward, compassionate, yet stern, otherworldly, yet deeply practical. She was fiercely idealistic, often to the point of absurdity. Once, as a child, she cried because she learned about the suffering of ancient Greek slaves. Another time, she went on a hunger strike because workers at her factory couldn't afford enough food. This despite being nearly faint from her own malnutrition. Her asceticism was legendary. She refused most pleasures, wore plain clothes, and insisted on doing hard manual labor to understand the struggles of the working class. She was the kind of person who'd bake bread for the homeless while lecturing you about the meaning of existence. Simone also had a mystical side. Later in life, she became deeply religious. Though she never officially joined the Catholic Church, she felt drawn to God, but couldn't reconcile herself to institutional religion. It was classic Simone. All the devotion, none of the dogma. Now, here's where it gets serious. Simone Weil's importance lies in her ideas, activism, and example of how to live a life guided by principles. Some of her key contributions include 1. Her philosophy of attention. Weil believed that true understanding comes from paying deep, undivided attention, whether to a math problem, a person in need, or God. For her, attention was a spiritual act. 2. Social justice advocacy. She was a passionate advocate for the working class and spent years living as a factory worker to experience their struggles firsthand. Her writings on labor and oppression are still studied today. 3. Mysticism and theology. Simone wrote extensively about spirituality, arguing that suffering could bring people closer to God. Her mystical writings influenced theologians and philosophers alike. 4. A life of example. She didn't just talk the talk, she walked the walk, right into poverty, hunger, and exhaustion. Her life was a bold experiment in living her beliefs, no matter the cost. Simone Weil passed away in 1943 at the tragically young age of 34, from tuberculosis made worse by her refusal to eat more than what she thought French soldiers were receiving during World War II. Yes, she literally starved herself out of solidarity. Was she a saint? A genius? A bit of a masochist? Maybe all three? Simone Weil's life was a whirlwind of intellectual brilliance, fierce compassion, and relentless self-sacrifice. She was the kind of person who'd make you feel both inspired and guilty for not doing more with your own life. So, the next time you're tempted to hit snooze instead of getting out of bed, think of Simone Weil. She'd probably be up at dawn, writing a manifesto, feeding the hungry, and arguing with Plato, all before breakfast.